Today I'm going to be running down my top 5 films of 1971. A fantastic year for film. There was Diamonds Are Forever, Get Carter, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but this is my top 5 favourite films. So, number 5, Pink Narcissus. It's one of the few films that properly explores male sensuality. And it's a film that allows men to feel beautiful. It's an art house film, lots of lovely soft colours and sensual imagery. There's a wonderful scene where the main character's walking through the rain in a garden and a butterfly lands on their crotch and just stays there for a while. So it is an unusual film. It does contain some sexual imagery. Number 4, A Clockwork Orange. Just a brilliant film. I mean, Stanley Kubrick's films all tend to be of a high calibre. This isn't my favourite Stanley Kubrick film, but it is still one of his best.
There was me, that is Alex, and my 3 droogs, that is Pete, Georgie and Dim.
It was one of the most violent films of its time, and it was banned by the director because of some crazy guy making death threats to his family, so it was banned, so it wasn't allowed to be shown in Stanley Kubrick's lifetime.
Brother, did he well?
Which added to its mystique a little and made it a controversial film, more controversial than it would have been otherwise, really.
Stop it, please, I beg you!
It's set in a sort of weird alternative future, I guess, where people speak this future slang. About people being institutionalised. If someone is naturally a criminal and they're a violent person, can you take that part from them? Number 3 is by another one of my favourite directors of all time, Ken Russell, and it's The Devils.
And what form does this incubus take?
Superb film, based on a true story. It's about a convent of nuns that claim to have been invaded by evil spirits, and they all just go crazy. And it's a film about sexual repression and how church and state need to be kept separate. It's a political satire, because at the time in history, the church controlled the state and made the laws, and and all these women were put in this convent. As soon as they found an excuse to just let go, they did, and all of them started to claim possession, and it just spread like wildfire. Because it's a film about the church, there needs to be a scapegoat, and so they decide to blame Oliver Reed's character.
The true sign of the devil!
No! Call me vain and proud, the greatest sinner ever to walk on God's earth. But Satan's boy I could never be.
Best performance Oliver Reed ever gave. That's one I would highly recommend, The Devils. Number 2, and this was nearly number 1, Harold and Maude. The best rom-com of all time. Very, very funny. Very, very funny. For quite a dark sense of humour.
Everyone has the right to make an ass out of themselves. Can't let the world judge you too much.
Very romantic, very tragic. It's a delightfully quirky.
Are you ready, Harold? Should women run for president of the United States? Well, I don't see why not. Absolutely yes. Is it difficult for you to accept criticism? Oh, no. Do you believe in capital punishment for murder? Absolutely.
Essentially, it's a love story between Harold and Maude is a woman in her 80s, I believe, and Harold is like about 17. And Harold is awkward and shy and won't speak to anyone, and Maude is loud and bubbly and outgoing, and it's their relationship.
Harold?
Maude?
Suicidal themes in it. That's not a spoiler either, but you can't really get around, the fact that is a huge part of the film, the fact that he keeps pretending to kill himself all the time. That brings us to number 1, my favourite film of 1971, and it has to be The Blood on Satan's Claw. I love The Blood and Satan's Claw, and I will admit, as someone who loves The Blood and Satan's Claw, I will admit the ending is ridiculous, because I've recommended this film to people before, and the ending is crap. It has got a stupid ending, but the film is so good that it makes up for that. It's one of those rare cases where the main body of the film is so brilliant that no matter what the ending is, it can't let the film down. It's something about the whole look and feel of the film. It's so tangible because it's really rural, but in a way that's very real and dirty, and you can almost feel the brambles scraping you. You know, it's like you can see all the blossom and twigs snapping, and you can see the mud and soil with the earth being farmed. And the soundtrack is wonderful. It's one of my favourite film soundtracks. British folklore, you know, it's really an interesting subject matter. So that has to be my favourite film of 1971. I know everyone will have their own picks because it is subjective at the end of the day, but you know, let me know what you thought. Thank you for watching. See you next time.